Okay, hello students. Welcome to my second video on how to type. In my first video, we went through some of the basics of typing. Hopefully you watched that. Please watch that if you haven't watched that already. In this second video, I'm going to be talking about specific tips as well as specific courses of what you're actually going to be doing. What I recommend for you for learning how to type. So let me go ahead and skip my slides over to here. Okay, so let's start with some basic tips that applies to all students from 3rd through 7th grade in my course for learning how to type. Okay, the home position. That's the first thing that's very, very important. You need to know what's called the home position for typing, okay? And that means that there's bumps on every keyboard. Let me go ahead and make this a little bit bigger for a minute here. Every keyboard in the world is going to have little bumps on F and J. You can barely see it on my keyboard. For mine, they're near the bottom. They're like a little line bump. You can see it on the J a little bit better. But there is also a little bump there. Every keyboard in the world will have that. Okay, that tells you that your pointing fingers go there. So if you actually take your hands off the keyboard, most adults, when they type, they don't actually have to look back at the keyboard. They just, if they have to type, and if they have to grab something and drink, they'll just go ahead and drink, and then they'll put their hands right back at the keyboard. I've just done it. I'm not even looking down. I'm looking straight at you, but my hands went exactly back. Yeah, see, look. My pointing fingers knew, and, it's just by, you get used to it, and you can also feel where that bump is, so you already know. But you'll get really, really comfortable here. So F and J, your two pointing fingers, are going to go on there. D and K, your middle fingers are going to go on there. S and L is where your ring fingers are going to go. Your two ring fingers on S and L. And then finally, your pinkies are going to be on the A and the semicolon. Okay, and sorry, finally your space bar. Your thumbs are usually resting right on top of the space bar. Okay, so make sure your hands are on there and they're just gently resting on top of these. Don't press down any of the keys, especially not the space bar. Some students are accidentally pressing down the space bar. They have a heavy hand. No, your hand should be just gently resting on top of these keys. This is called the home position for typing. A couple more tips on the home position. For posture. These are very important. First of all, your fingertips should be bent. Okay? They should be bent like this. Not like natural. I mean, don't make a fist, right? It just be natural. Like if you were to sleepwalk, pretend you're sleepwalking, like you'd be like, your hands would be just kind of out, just slightly, you see, just slightly bent like that. That's exactly how your fingers should be. If you don't bend your fingers, look what happens. If you keep your fingers straight, look what happens. Michelle, my pinky doesn't reach the A anymore. Well, unless I go like that. But then my pointing finger doesn't reach it over. Oh, yeah. So it's going to be really, really hard to type. Not to mention that, your fingers won't reach. Your pinkies won't reach. But the other thing that's going to happen is that if you try to press down any key, you're going to be pressing multiple keys, right? But by keeping your fingers bent, all of your fingers magically reach, even your pinky, which is your shortest finger. They magically reach because, look, it forms a line. When you bend your fingers like that, it forms a natural line. And look, this is a line. This is in one line, right? So that's the way that you're supposed to do. You're supposed to keep your fingers bent. Okay, next, your wrist and palms. You can't see mine. I'll show you. My palm and my wrist, and maybe even your arm, if your table's long enough, should be glued down on, here, let me move this up a little bit more so you can see, glued down on my table. Glue those down. If you glue them down, you're going to make it a lot easier to type, and your fingers won't wander off the home position, right? If you're chicken pecking like this, your wrist and palm are never on the table, right? And try this. Try chicken pecking your name without looking down. You just can't do it without looking at the keyboard at all. If you can chicken peck your name, because you don't even know where anything is. But by you being in the home position, you always know where everything is. And by you keeping your palm and wrist glued down to the table, you'll never move off of this home position, right? So this is going to be. I've covered up my presentation as I'm talking there. But yeah, okay, so yeah, fingers bent, fingertips, each one touch down, your palm and wrist glued down to the table. Okay. Here, we don't need to see me. Okay, and you've already seen the ones above there. Okay, elbows out. Okay, maybe you should see me. Elbows out, right? You can't see my elbows, but when you look down when you're typing, you should see a triangle shape. Your two arms, see, they come together like here, and your chest is here. So your two arms and your chest, if you look down right now, you should see a triangle shape. So that's your posture when you type, okay? Eyes straight ahead at the screen. You should not be looking down at the keyboard. I mean, if you were to look at me while I'm typing, my eyes should be straight at the screen like this. I'm pretending to type. I'm not really typing right now. But what students do is they'll go like this. Can you tell that I'm peeking by looking at my eyes? Right? You can totally tell, right? You're not supposed, you cannot peek even one time. The only time you're allowed to peek is when you put your hands in the home position. Once you make sure that your hands are in the home position, you're not supposed to peek during the entire lesson from then on. Okay, and again, peeking will hurt you from learning. It won't help you. It'll make it harder for you to learn how to type. It won't make it easier. So please make sure you don't peek. Okay, and yeah, sitting up straight is a nice thing. Don't slouch. Okay, so that's it with the beginning tips. Oh, I guess I have more. Okay, a couple more, sorry. Let me move this out of the way. Okay. Remembering the lesson names equals remembering the keys. Remembering the lesson name. So DFJK. Look. All you have to do, third graders, and fourth and fifth and sixth and seventh graders, right? All you need to do is remember the name of the lesson, and that's a secret for remembering which key it is, because it's always in order from left to right. Right. So look, D, F, J, K. So if you're like typing, oh, where's D again? Just remember the name of the lesson. It's D, D. See, I'll hold up my fingers. D, F, J, K. D, F, J, K, right? It's always going to be, so D, D, F, J, K. D, F, J, K. Oh, Miss Zhang, I forgot. Oh, Stamina's asking me to type the letter J. I can't remember what it is. Just think of the lesson name. D, F, J. Oh, there it is. It must be this one. It is. Oh, Miss Zhang, now Stamina's asking me to type the letter K, and I can't remember where that is. Think of the lesson name. D, F, J, K. Oh, it's this one. Yep, there it is. So that is the secret. This is a big, big secret. Okay? Remember the lesson name, and you'll remember where the key is. This applies to every single lesson, except for short words. Okay, 7th graders, right? Because short words is not keys on the keyboard anymore, right? Okay. Again, don't peek at the keyboard. It hurts your learning. Stop and think. And what should you think? Think of the lesson name. I forgot where F is. D, F. Oh, there it is. That one, right? So what students do is when they don't know where a key is, they'll just press anything. Is this it? Is that it? Is this it? Is this it? Oh, it moved. That must have been the right one. No. That's not learning how to type. That's not thinking. That's not using your brain. You're only using your fingers in that case. You're not using your brains at all. That's wrong. You have to use your brain and your fingers to learn how to type, not just your fingers, right? So stop and think. Okay, that pretty much covers what I was just saying. Don't just guess, right? By pressing random keys, stop and think. Okay, must use fingers and brains. I said that again, right? So it's very important. Students sometimes just try to I don't like using my brain. I like to not use my brain. I like to rest my brain. I'm just going to use my fingers. No, you need to use your brain for learning, right? And so typing, you have to use your brain and your fingers. Okay, another tip is don't let those fingers drift off the home position. Glue your palm and wrist down so you don't move them, right? So a lot of students, they start chicken pecking and then they start doing the, no, don't chicken peck. Buck, 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 buck. Chicken pecking, it's called chicken pecking because you're hunting and, where's F? Oh, there it is. Where is P? There it is. Where is B? B. Oh, there it is, right? So, oops. I've just done some. I guess B is a shortcut on. All right. So, I guess that. Yeah. Sorry. So you must use. All right. Hang on. Yeah. There we are. Yeah. So please glue those fingers. And you can't see these things. Oh, I'm sorry. I bet you're yelling at me through the screen right now. I'm sorry. Let's move this a little bit smaller. But I said those things, but so you guys can see. All right. Next. Warm up each lesson before you start. On DFJK, here's what it looks like. On DFJK, you're just going to be DFJK, 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 DFJ. Don't just keep on pressing those keys. Think of the key as you're hitting it. Go slowly. DFJK, DFJK, DFJK. Say those over and over again, maybe 10 times before third graders, before you start that DFJK lesson. Before you start it, do that. Say it out loud and press it. And don't look at the keyboard. Should be just looking straight ahead so that your fingers remember. Oh, that your brain remembers. Oh, that's the finger for D. Oh, that's the finger for F, right? And et cetera, et cetera. So warm up. That's what I mean by warm up. For older students, it'll be ASL semicolon, VBNM, TGYH, and I'll actually go through the warm-ups with you when we get there. When you are doing these practice lessons in Stamina or online speed typing, right? Write down, every time you finish a lesson, write down your results, right? Even if you failed it, even if you got over 10% error, right? Write it down because you want to see from day to day what you're improving, how you're improving, and trust me, you will improve. And you'll also see which lesson maybe you need to work on a little bit more, right? And so please write it down. If you don't write it down, you're not going to remember how you're doing, and you won't be able to see your progress. It's really awesome to be able to see your progress. Don't give up. Anybody can do it with a little bit of practice. Again, I said this at the beginning in my last video. When you play a sport for the first time, when you play a musical instrument for the first time, it's hard. You will not be able to do it. So you're gonna try that lesson for the first time. Oh, sorry, you can't see Sorry, I keep on forgetting. You're gonna be like, Mr. Yang, this is too hard. Or Mom and Dad, this lesson's too hard. I'm never gonna be able to get it. Can I stop? Right? Parents, don't give in. Students, don't give up. Okay, trust me, it's hard at the beginning. It might take you 5 tries before you're able to get that lesson, or maybe even 10 tries before you're able to get that lesson under 10% error, but you're gonna get it if you stop looking and, all right, keep on trying. If you keep on looking, you're never gonna get it. But if you stop looking at the keyboard, trust me, you will get it, okay? So don't give up, please. Parents and students, don't give up. Okay. This is a pep talk just for the third graders. Some of it will be redundant. I'm just going to go through it pretty quickly. It is also helpful for you older students. So how do you what should you be doing on DFJK? Again, slow. You should be typing slow. You should be aiming for accuracy, which means that you're getting under 10% error. And you should do it without peaking. If you're going over 10% error, it's a fail. If you're trying to type in fast, you're going to go over 10% error and it's going to be a fail. If you're peaking all the time, that means you're not giving your brain the chance to learn where the keys are. You're not going to learn how to type. So make sure you're doing those 3 things. Again, you're going to fail. You're going to fail like 2, 3 times. You're going to fail all the time. You're going to get over 10% all the time. You're going to be tempted to peek at your fingers all the time. Don't give up. Trust me, like any musical instrument that you've ever learned or any sport, you will get it. You don't shoot one free throw and for basketball and be like, oh, I missed. I give up. I'm never going to play basketball again, right? I mean, it's like, hey, try again. You might miss it again, but keep on trying. Eventually, you're going to make it, and eventually, you're going to make it more and more and more, and miss it a lot less if you don't give up. If you're getting 25% error or more in stamina, or 75% accuracy or less in the online typing, speed typing, right? It means that you're not using your brain. It means that you're just guessing and pressing any key until it moves, right? So please make sure, if you're getting 25%, around 25% or more, it means that you're not using your brain. I would say slow down and think before you type. Don't just press any buttons. Okay? Third graders, warm up before you start. Warm up. Do that 10 times. D, F, J, K. Without looking down. Put your hand. You can look down when you put your hands in the home position. But once you have your hands in the home position, D, F, J, K. D, F, J, K. D, F, J, K. 10 times. And before you start in stamina. The lesson won't start in stamina until you press the space bar, right? So no worries. You can actually press anything you want and it won't mess it up. Okay. Third graders, here's what's probably going to happen. Your first try on DFJK, your speed's probably going to be pretty low at like 8 words per minute. Around, some students are going to be a little bit slower, a little bit faster. But typically, the first try for a third grader, it's going to be really slow, and your errors are going to be more than 10%. Typically, it's going to be like 15% error. But the typical results after your 8 days of doing this, most third graders are going to be typing closer to about 20 words per minute, some a little bit faster, some a little bit slower, and usually around 2 to 4% error, which is good. Some a little bit more errors, some a little bit less. I've had students even get like 0% errors, which means they didn't make even one mistake during the entire test. Okay? Yours might be a little bit different from this, but again, that's going to be typical for when you start and typical for when you finish. So don't give up. Trust me, you're going to get to here. Here's what I recommend third graders for your 8 days. Every day, you're going to try to do DFJK 4 times. 4 times. Yeah, you can take a little bit of a break in between, but I don't really recommend a long break. Like maybe just like a 1-minute break or something like that in between each lesson, or like a few seconds. You probably don't even need a 1 minute, but don't take like a half an hour break in between each of these 4. So do DFJK 4 times every day. By the time you get to the 8th day, you've pretty much mastered DFJK. You're done with the 3rd grade lesson. Okay, that's the sample course. And that's the end of the video for the 3rd graders. You're done, 3rd graders. Go ahead and try that now. And rewatch any of my 2 videos if you need to rewatch anything. But you're ready to go ahead and jump in on either stamina or the online speed typing thing. Okay? All right. Specific to 4th graders, but this applies to 5th, 6th, and 7th graders. Okay, you guys are doing ASL semicolon as well as DFJK. Okay, again, go slowly, make sure you're under 10% error, and do it without peeking once. If you're getting 25% or more, around 25% error or more, it means you're not using your brain at all. You're just pressing any keys, you're just guessing. Make sure you think, don't guess. Warm up ASL semicolon before starting. How do I do that, Miss Yang? Same thing. Look at my hands real quick. All right? It's going to be ASL semicolon. Your hands are in a home position, first of all. ASL semicolon. ASL semicolon. Do that out loud 10 times. ASL semicolon. Before you try doing ASL semicolon. Now, Ms. Yang, what about DFJK? Yeah, you should be starting on DFJK, 4th graders. Don't start on ASL semicolon. Start on DFJK. And then once you get the hang of that, then move up to ASL semicolon. So you should, yes, you should review. Okay. Guys, ASL semicolon is harder than DFJK. Here's why. It uses your slower fingers, right? Your pinky and your ring finger are slower than your pointing finger and your middle fingers. Also, now you need to know 8 keys instead of just 4. 8 keys, right? And guys, DFJK, it only practices just random combinations of D's, F's, and J's, and K's. It just throws random combinations of that. Well, guess what ASL semicolon will do? It'll start you off with just A's, S's, L's, and semicolon, but then after it warms you up on that, it starts throwing in some D's, F's, J's, and K's too. So you're going to have to remember all of those keys. Okay? So that's why it is harder. So please warm up and go slow and carefully. Okay? Keep those fingers, all of your fingers in the home position, please. Right? In the home position, please. I'll have students do this. When they start doing ASL semicolon, they take these 2 fingers and they go like this. This is wrong. Do not take your pointing finger and your middle finger over to ASL semicolon and start doing that. Because then, I told you, after it starts warming you up in A's, S's, L's, and semicolon, it's going to start throwing in D's, F's, J's, and K's on you. So then you're going to be, now you've not learned anything, and then now you're going to have to put these back where they belong, and then you're going to have to start using these anyways too. So please, 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 all of these 8 fingers in the home position, don't do these, like type like that, okay? Typical first try for 4th graders on ASL semicolon is about 15 words per minute is your speed, and about 15% error. Okay? But typically, after your 8th day of doing this, most students are closer to around 25 words per minute, and again, 2 to 4% error. Okay, here is my sample course for you. Okay, you could, oh, let me move this out of the way. You can't see it. Okay, so pause the video, take a picture from your phone, or write this down. But this is what I recommend. Each day, what you should be doing. Okay? It changes. Every day is a little bit different. Right? We start off with just these DFJKs, but then I start throwing in ASL semicolons on you, and then we're only doing ASL semicolons, and then we're back to both being able to do, by the 8th day, both of them. Okay. Bam, 4th graders. That's the end of my video for you. You guys can stop watching here and start going on to practice typing. Okay, 5th graders and 6th graders and 7th graders. Let's continue on. Bam. Okay, 5th graders, you're going to be doing these 3 lessons. Of course, start with DFJK. Same thing as before. Slow. Go slow. Under 10% error. And without peaking at all. We're focusing on accuracy, not speed. So that's what I mean when I say slow. Well, Ms. Shang, how slow should I type? As slow as you can type. You want to type, okay. For all students, you should be typing as fast as you can type without making mistakes. Okay? As fast as you can, where you feel like I'm not making almost any mistakes. That's how slow or that's how fast you really should be typing. Okay? So if your errors are going up closer to 10%, that means you need to slow it down. If you're getting 0% error, that means maybe you should be speeding up your typing. Okay? So that's what that means. Okay. Again, if you're getting 25% errors or more, it means you're guessing, you're not using your brain. Think more. Use your brain. Don't just use your fingers and don't just press any random keys. Warm up VBNM before you try it. This is hard. It is a lot harder than ASL semicolon. It's a lot harder than ASL semicolon. Why? Well, okay, first of all, there's 12 keys instead of 8. That's one small reason. But the big reason why it's harder is this. You must leave home. This is the first time. 3rd graders don't have to do it. 4th graders don't have to do this. 5th graders, you must leave home and return home. That sounds easy. It should be if you do it. But a lot of students won't do it, and then typing becomes harder. Trust me, if you leave home and come back home right away, typing becomes easy. It's hard if you don't. What does that mean, Miss Yang? Okay. Well, first of all, glue down your fingers in the home position. Let me make my picture a little bit bigger. See, I'm going to glue my fingers here. VBNM, you need to actually leave home and return home. And the tips, let me just finish going through some of these, and then I'll show you guys what you should do for your tips. Okay. To leave home, you need to reach out, hit a key, and then go back home. It's 3 steps. Reach out, hit a key, like T, and then go back home. 3 steps. Don't leave your fingers away from home. I'll have a lot of students when they have to type a key like the letter T, they'll reach out, hit the key, and leave their finger there right after they hit it. Did you see what I just did? I reached out, hit the key, and I leave my finger there. No, 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 no. Do not do that. Hit the key, come back home. Look at how, this is the right way of doing it. If I want to hit T, I hit T, I come back to F. I leave F. Here's slow-mo. Leave F, hit T, go back to F. In fast motion. See? That is how I type the letter T. That's how an adult would type the letter T. Like that. Okay? It's hitting it and coming home. Fingers should all be home before pressing the space bar. Okay. Let me just see. Is there any more? Okay. Typical. First try on VBNM is 18 words per minute, roughly, and 18% error. But then by the time you're done with it, usually students are roughly around 27 words per minute and 2 to 4% error. Okay, that's on VBNM. Now let me just talk a little bit more about this real quick. Here's what I mean, guys. Let me open up. Oh, shoot. I don't have Stamina open. Hang on. Let me open up Stamina again and show you what I mean. Okay, so here's Stamina, and here I'm on VBNM right now. And so let me just go ahead and press a space bar and start this for you real quick and show you what I mean here. Okay, so I have to go ahead and type this in right here, and let me move my camera down out of the way just for a little bit right here. Okay, so I have to type in oh, sorry. I have to click back on here. Okay. N, space bar. See, look, every time right before you press a space bar, all your fingers should be back home. B, N, space bar. You see, right before I press space bar, I should be back home. That's what I mean with this point right here, where I say fingers should all be home before pressing the space bar, right? Okay. So that's, let me go ahead and stop this lesson right here. And can I minimize this? Okay, I'll come back to that. Okay, so that's what I mean. And here's what I mean by the VBNM warm-up. Let me show you guys, and this is important for 6th and 7th graders as well. Here's what the warm-up is. Let me actually, well, yeah, let's bring up Stamina again. And I'm just going to finish. And I'm going to, here. As long as I don't press spacebar. Let me press F2 to bring up the picture of the keyboard. See, this right here, okay, is a picture of your keyboard, as you can see here. And the red lines right here are what are called finger zones. This tells you which finger is in charge of which area. So as you can see here, the way that the keyboard works, guys, is very, very logical. From the home position, obviously, the finger that's touching each of those keys, those are the fingers that are in charge of it. So, for example, my A is in charge of that. My pinky is in charge of A. My ring finger, this ring finger is in charge of S. And this middle finger is in charge of D. And this pointing finger is in charge of F. And etc., right? But it's also in charge of the key directly above it and below it. So, for example, my finger that's on F right here, it's also in charge of the key above it, the R, and the finger below it, the V. This finger on J, it's also in charge of the U above it and the M right below it, and etc., etc. All of the fingers are in charge of the ones above it and also the ones below it. Well, Miss Zhang, what about these keys right here in the middle? What about this T, G, and B, and this Y, H, and N? Well, good news. Your two fastest fingers, your pointing fingers on each of your hands, are also in charge of the next column over. Okay? So that's what happens. So this is very, very easy. So the VB, so you guys already know the DFJK warm-up. It's super easy. DFJK, DFJK. You already know the ASL semicolon warm-up. It's just ASL semicolon, ASL semicolon. Now the VBNM warm-up and beyond is different. The VBNM warm-up, which are these four keys here, VBNM. See, it's in order. VBNM. It's this is the warm-up. FV, 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 FB, 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 JN, 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 JM, 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 JM. This is what is called the VBNM warm-up. Do this with me at your computer right now. I mean, you can do it. Hopefully nothing happens to your computer. You're just watching a video. I don't know if any of these keys will affect YouTube. I don't think they will. Well, C will. That'll turn on closed captioning. But I don't think any of these, some of these keys might affect. Okay, anyways. So, you don't, the trick is not going as fast as you can. The trick is going slowly. And let me actually zoom in on my camera on my hands real quick now. Okay. FV, 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 FV. Now, do this over and over again. Just F and V. Don't go super fast. Don't go as fast as you can. Go just like a medium pace. Not super slow, but just go like a medium pace. And think of the key. Don't just put this on cruise control. Think of the key as you're hitting the key. So in your mind, you should be like F, V, F, V, F, V, F, V, F, V. And don't look down while you're doing this. You can look down when you first start, but stop looking down and see if you can continue doing this. F, V, F, V. Now, you should be able to do this F and V are super easy to be able to press. Okay, now, the next one. This is hard. B is really far away from F. In fact, it's so far, especially for small hands, 5th graders, you're not done growing yet, so your hands are probably a bit smaller than adult hands, right? So this will be a bit of a stretch for you to get from F to B. F, B. And look, I can do this, but look how slow I have to do it, and I have to really focus to not move anything else. But guys, let me show you how I actually type this. If I were to type FB, now let me freeze my hands in slow motion. Let me do the same thing I was doing, and look what happens. Stop there. Look at this, look at this, look at this. Do you see how my middle finger is no longer on D? It's in between F and D. And my ring finger is no longer on S. It's right in between S and D. My pinky is cool. It's right on A. My palm is still down. The bottom of my palm is still down on the table. Okay? So guys, here's the thing. You want to keep a few anchors. It's okay to bring a few fingers along for the ride. In fact, it's a lot. I can type B a lot quicker if I do. See, look. Let me freeze it. See, look. These guys came along for the ride. Yes, it's okay to let go of them. Never bring everybody for the ride like this. Look, look. Everybody came along for a ride. Now you're not going to know how to go home. You've picked your hands off the table too. This is terrible. No, 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 don't do that. Bring along anybody you'd like for the ride. What I would recommend, bring everybody but your pinky and your palm. And look how much quicker I can do that. Now, you don't have to race. You don't have to go as quick as you can, but look how much quicker I can do that. All right? Okay, so F, B, F, B, F, B, F, B. Do that along with me. Think of the key as you're hitting it. F, B, F, B, F, B, F, B. Keep on doing that. Now, J, M. Sorry, let's do JN first, right? JN, 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 JN. This isn't too hard, but look, my middle finger. Look at my middle finger, guys. And my ring finger. My middle finger and my ring finger moves just a little bit. They don't stay perfectly glued down, but look at my pinky. It stayed perfectly glued down. And my wrist stays perfectly glued down. That's what I would recommend. Everybody's hand's a little bit different, but you have to keep something glued down. So your palm and your pinky are good candidates. JM, 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 JM is really easy. This is the VBNM warm-up. Let's do it around the block again. FV, FV. Do this along with me. Think of the key as we're hitting it. FV, 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 FV. FB, 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 FB. You don't have to go as fast as I'm going, but think of the key as you're hitting it. Don't just put this on cruise control. JN, 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 JN. And JM, 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 JM. There you go. That's the VBNM warm-up. You've just done it. This is what you should do before you start any VBNM. Okay? All right. Oops. I just dragged my wrong thing here. Let me move this one. Okay. What course is there for 5th graders? Here it is. Take a picture, or write it down, or you can always just, come back to the video and watch it again. But I would say it's probably easier to either take a picture with your phone or your tablet, or just write these things down. This is what I recommend. Can you do something different? Yes, you can. Can I do 10 days instead of 8 days? Sure. You can break it down however you want, but if you did it in 8 days, this is what I would recommend you do. Okay? And at that point, we are at the end of the lesson for 5th graders. 5th graders, you are done. Go ahead and you can start. I'm going to move around along with 6th and 7th graders now. 6th graders, you are going to do these 5 lessons here. Again, same tips as before if you've been watching along. Make sure you go slowly, under 10% error, and without peaking. This one's the biggest one right here. Okay? Okay, it's not a race. Go slow. Under 10% error. Do not peak. Not peaking will help you learn how to type. If you're getting 25% or more, it means you're not thinking, you're not using your brain, you're just pressing any keys. That means you need to slow down and start using your brain while you type. It takes your fingers and your brains, not just your fingers. You have to use your brains. You need to do the TGYH warm-up and the ERUI warm-up before starting. And if you were watching our previous lesson, this is what it is. The it's the same thing as the VBNM warm-up. The TGYH warm-up is FT, 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 FT. Look at my fingers. Nothing comes along for the ride except maybe my thumb a little bit. But look, my ring finger and my pinky, and my ring finger and middle finger and pinky, they stay down. Because it's really easy going from F to T. FT, 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 FT. Think of it. Think of the key as you're hitting it. FT, F, FT, 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 FT. And go as slow as you need to go. You don't have to go super fast. Hit F, hit T. Hit F, hit T. Now FG, 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 FG. Look. This is super easy too. Nobody has to come along for the ride. Go as slow. Think of the key. Go slower. You don't have to go as fast as I go. F, G, F, G, F, G. Now J, Y, J, Y, J, Y, J, Y. For this one, I lift up my palm to do this one. But I have 3 anchors right here keeping me grounded. And then J, H, J, H, J, H, J, H. Think of the key as you're hitting it. Around the block again. F, T, F, T, F, T, F, T. F, G, F, G, F, G, F, G. Think of the key as you're hitting it. You don't have to go at the same speed as I'm going. J, Y, J, Y, J, Y, J, Y. Look at your hands too while you're doing this. See what your hands are doing. Everybody's hands are a little bit different. Some people might need to bring along a few fingers for the ride. I'm bringing along my thumb and my palm on this one. And J, H, J, H, J, H, J, H. My thumb moves a bit, but almost nothing else is moving. Okay, that's the TGYH warm-up. ERUI warm-up. D, E, D, E, D, E, D, E. Look at me. Everybody's hands are a little bit different. For this one, my pointing finger and pinky stay down, but my ring finger has to come along with me. I really can't do that very easily without lifting up my ring finger. But everybody's hands are a little bit different. What do your hands do? D, E, D, E. Think of the key as you're hitting it. Then F, R, F, R, F, R, F, R. Do it. Think of the key as you're hitting it. J, U, J, U, J, U, J, U. My palm lifts up a little bit. K, I, K, I, K, I, K, I. For me, what do your hands do? For me, my ring finger comes up. My pointing finger lifts up a little bit, but my palm and my pinky stay down. Okay? So that, around the block, one more time. For ERUI warm-up. D, E, D, E, D, E, D, E. F, R, F, R, F, R, F, R. J, U, J, U, J, U, J, U. K, I, K, I, K, I, K, I. Okay. That's what I mean when I say the TGYH warm-up and the ERUI warm-up. Okay, let's move that over there. Again, these three lessons require leaving home and therefore returning home. You must leave home and return home. Glue down your fingers in the home position. To leave home, reach out, hit a key, and return home. Especially this last step. A lot of students reach out, hit a key, and leave their finger there. That's wrong. Reach out, hit a key, leave their finger there. That's wrong. Go home. Go home right away. Hit the key, go home right away. Hit the key, go home right away. Hit the key, go home right away. Oops, I pressed that B key, which blanks out the screen. Hit the key, go home right away. 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 Don't leave fingers away from home again. Don't leave them out there. Before you press the space bar in stamina, because it gives you a whole bunch of different letters and then space bar. So make sure you're always home by the time you're ready to press the space bar. Before you press that space bar, your hand should always be in the home position. Well, Miss Shang, what if it tells me to type in V, N, V, N, V, N, V, N space bar? Are you saying, Miss Shang, I should type V, N, V, N, V, N space bar? Well, no, you can do that, but it's okay to go like this. V, N, V, N, V, N. Space bar, but right before you press the space bar, you should be back home. So again, you can go VN 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 home space bar, VN 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 home space bar. That's what I mean when I say you should be fingers should be home before pressing space bar. Okay. Typical TGYH and ERUI in the first try for a 6th grader is roughly 20 words per minute and maybe about 15% error. But by the time you're done, 30 words per minute and 2 to 4% error is common. Okay, here's the sample course for 6th graders. Write this down or take a picture of it. You can do it a little bit different from this, but this is what I would recommend if you want to plan on doing it in 8 days. If you want to do it in 9 days, 10 days, you might want to mix it up a little bit different, but here's my recommendation. Okay, this is the end of the video for the 8th graders. Congratulations for watching this far. You are done, and you may start. Okay, 7th graders. Just a little bit more. We're almost there, 7th graders. Thank you for sticking with me. You're going to be doing 2 other lessons, QWOP and short words. Same thing applies. Type slowly. How slow? as slow as you can feel like you can type without making a lot of, as fast as you can type without making a lot of mistakes. If you're making a lot of mistakes, it means you need to slow down, okay, and use your brain. If you're not making any mistakes at all, you might want to type faster. If you're making 0.0% errors, right? Okay, under 10% error, please do not peek. If you peek, you're robbing your brain and your fingers to remember the muscle memory to remember where those keys are. Do not peek. 25% errors or more means you're guessing. You're not using your brain at all. That's a sign that you're not using your brain. You're just pressing any keys until it moves. Until eventually you press the right ones. Okay, do the QWOP warm-up and do the short words warm-up. By the time you finish QWP, it means that there's only 3 keys that we have not done a lesson on. X, Z, X, and C. In that order, right? These 3 keys here. So you're going to want to warm them up. What does that mean? Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. QWOP warm-up will look like this. Look at the finger zones. It tells you which finger's in charge of each keys. It's really easy. It's the finger that you're already touching is in charge of that key and the row that it's in and the column that you're in. So, to warm up QWOP, it would be like AQ, 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 right? AQ. And go slow. AQ, AQ. What do you bring along? For me, I lift up my palm a bit. My arm is still on the table, but my palm lifts up, okay? And then for SW, SW, SW. For me, my middle finger comes along for the ride too. SW, SW, SW. Okay, then it's going to be LO, 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 L. Look, for me, almost everything comes for a ride. The only thing that doesn't come along for a ride for me, but everybody's hands are different, is my pointing finger, my thumb, and my wrist is down on the table. So L, O, L, O, L, O, L. And then semicolon P, semicolon P, semicolon P, semicolon P. My palm lifts off so that I can... And my ring finger and middle finger apparently sometimes come along for the ride too. But my thumb kind of keeps me anchored, and my pointing finger doesn't really move too far. It kind of hovers right above the J. Okay, so that's the QWP warm-up, right? AQ, AQ, AQ. Think of the key as you're doing it. SW, 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 LO, 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 L, and semicolon P, semicolon P. So that's the warm-up. Do that before you do a QWP, guys. Okay, the only other thing you're going to have to warm up before you try a short word, you're going to want to warm up these 3 keys down here, which haven't been warmed up anywhere else. So you're going to do the same warm up. A, Z, A, Z, A, Z, A, Z. S, X, S, X, S, X, S, X. Hit the key, go back home. Say the key in your head. Go slowly. S, X, S, X. Go home each time. S, X, S, X, S, X. Keep a few anchors, right? I don't know what your fingers are doing, but my pinky and my palm keeps me anchored on that one. Okay? D, E, D, C, D, C, D, C, D, C is the last one. Okay? Warm those up. That's the ZXC warm-up right there. Now we've warmed up every key. You know how to warm up every single key on the keyboard. So we're ready to move on. Okay, next. Almost all the lessons require leaving home and coming back home. Okay? Please, 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 don't hit a key and stay there. Hit a key and stay there, right? Please don't do that. Glue down your fingers into the home position. When you want to leave home, come right back. Leave home, come right back. Leave home, come right back. It's really 3 steps. Leave home, reach out, hit a key, come back home. Reach out, hit a key, come back home. Reach out, hit a key, come back home. Okay, that is how it works. Typing is easier if you do that. It's harder if you don't do it, guys. So please try to do it. Don't leave your fingers away from home. I already said that many times. Fingers should all be home before pressing spacebar. I already talked about that, right? In stamina, when you have a spacebar, right before you hit the spacebar, all your fingers should already be, well, it should be home right after you hit a key, right? Hit a key, go back home. Hit a key, go back home. But if you have a bunch of gibberish at the same, like G, H, G, H, G, H, yeah, that's fine. G, H, G, H, G, H. But sure, you didn't return home. That's fine. But return home before it asks you to press a spacebar, at least. Okay, typical try on short words on QWOP is 25 words per minute your first try, and about 15% error your first try. But by the time you finish, I usually have students getting around 32 words per minute, and again, a respectable error between 2 and 4%. Here is my course for you guys as 7th graders. Here's what I recommend. Of course, you can do it different from what I said, but this is what I recommend for 7th graders, and you can spread it out between more than 8 days if you need it. But if you're going to do 8 days and follow my course, that is a good way of doing it. Okay. Last thing I want to say to you guys, 7th graders, is look at this graph, guys. I made a graph about typing. Okay, and so this is typing speed over time. Your way of typing, doing the hybrid chicken pecking, I bet is what you'd like to do. And the real way, it's not Mr. Yang's way, it's the real way to type. Okay? The real way is in green. Your way is in this like purplish, pinkish purple color, right? So look, here is, and right now, we're at now. We're right here at now. Okay? And then what ends up happening is, over time, like high school, college, adult, look what's going on. Yes, you will get faster at typing. When you type the wrong way, when you type using chicken pecking and the hybrid chicken pecking way of typing and looking down constantly at the keyboard while you're typing, you will get better at that, but you're going to hit a wall very quick. You're going to stay around 30 words per minute. Okay, you'll never get good. You'll just stay 20 to 30 words per minute. Okay? But the deception, here's what I want to point out. Here, look right here at now. If you type now doing your hybrid approach, you'll feel like it's easier because it is, because you're always looking. And you'll feel like, Miss Yang, I can type kind of fast doing it my way. I know. But you're going to hit that wall. You're not going to improve very much, even into adulthood. But if you do it my way, the real way, let's call it that. That's the real way. If you type the real way, you'll be like, but Miss Yang, typing the real way, I have to use my brain so much. I don't like using it. And I do it slower. I don't like it. I know. But if you do it the real way, you will get faster and better, and then you're going to explode. You're going to get better and better. I meet students who come back to me and say, by the time I have some high school students come back to me and say, Miss Yang, yeah, I can type 90 words per minute. I have, college students come back to me and say, yeah, I'm a fast typer now and I know how to type. It's all thanks to you. But if you stay doing it your way, you're never going to really improve. You're going to hit a wall very quickly. So please don't do it your way. Do it the right way and you'll get somewhere good. Okay. Congratulations, 7th graders. Well, let me just future congratulate you. If you do this and you get to the end of this, the 8 days, congratulations. Welcome to the land of knowing how to type. You now know how to type any letter of the alphabet, any word, therefore, and therefore any sentence without looking down at the keyboard even once. Once you finish short words, that is what you have learned. It's a magic aha moment. And you'll be like, you're right. Oh, let me type my name. Oh, let me type every word I'm saying right now. And you'll actually do it, and it will act without even looking down one time, and you'll be able to do it, and you'll be like, I never have to look down again. But here's the warning. Because here's what some students will do. They'll turn back and do the hybrid chicken peck. They've learned how to type the right way, but then they'll just turn around and start walking backwards. It's like you've crossed the finish line. You've just finished the race. Now you're turning back and you're going to start walking back towards the start line? No, keep on going. There's great things out ahead of you, but students will sometimes reach this state and then turn back and do it their way. And it's like, whoa, now you're just going to lose and give away all of what you've gained. And then it's going to be this. You're going to be this in the future, not this in the future. Okay? All right. That's the end of my very, very long video. Congratulations for making this far. Good luck and happy, happy typing.